Proverbs chapter 18 verses 2 and 13 says, "Fools find no pleasure in understanding, but delight in airing their own opinions. To answer before listening, that is folly and shame." God wants you to be wise, not foolish in your communication with your spouse. He wants you to hear. Think about the last time you had a conversation with your spouse. Did you go into the conversation with your heart and mind focused on listening to your spouse talk, or just to be heard? In this video, I'm sharing excerpts from my book called Psalm Strategy Journal for Marriage. My name is Crystal White. As a licensed professional counselor, I provide therapy to married couples. The common complaint that I hear in marriages is one or both spouses don't feel heard. I would say this is very true, as the couple is sitting in front of me fighting about the details of their issues, like the date and the time of the event, how many times this issue has occurred, so on and so forth. As a trained listener, I'm able to see past all of that and hear what the wife is really saying and what the husband is really saying, and that is this: I don't feel connected to you. I don't feel heard by you. I don't feel seen by you, and I don't feel intimacy with you. This is why I created the C.H.I goal for relationships. Now, the C.H.I goal for relationships is a universal goal, meaning you can even use this skill with your children and your friends. But for this video, we're specifically using this for marriages. So if you're married and want to constructively share your thoughts and feelings with your spouse, keep listening. The acronym C.H.I stands for Connectedness, Heard My Spouse, and Intimacy. I'm going to focus on H for Heard My Spouse. The H in the C.H.I goal for Heard My Spouse is to encourage each spouse to communicate so their spouse walks away from the conversation knowing they've been heard by their partner. Start by posturing your heart and mind before the conversation even starts. Your approach to every conversation should begin with the thought, I'm going into this conversation to hear what my spouse has to say so I can understand, comfort, empathize, and compromise with him or her today. You must have an open ear and an open heart and a clear mind to listen and respond to what your spouse is communicating. This is not to say you should not approach the conversation to share your thoughts or not have them at all. But if your sole purpose is just to express your opinion, then you've missed the mark. You've missed an opportunity to create a safe space and reinforce connectedness in the marriage that opens the door for intimacy. Just imagine if both spouses sit down with the intention to hear their spouse talk, then both walk away feeling heard. So let's get into how to put the Heard My Spouse goal into practice. To practice Heard My Spouse will differ with every couple, but here are the skills you can use solely or to build upon your own healthy communication style between you and your spouse. Use the DBT Wise Mind Skill on page 17. In my book, I show you 3 steps of how to emotionally regulate, effectively communicate your thoughts and feelings, and make your requests. That is whatever you're wanting and needing from your spouse. This will assist you in identifying and communicating your thoughts and emotions in a healthy way. Write down thoughts or points that come to your mind while your spouse is talking. This reduces interrupting your spouse. Return to that point when it's your time to talk. Don't just listen to respond. Listen to meet the need. If you approach the conversation intentionally and are ready to hear your spouse, then this should be easy to do. Ask your spouse if they need help solving a problem or they just need you to listen and empathize. Acknowledge your spouse's emotions. When it's your turn to talk, use the phrase, "So I heard you say," then proceed to express what you heard your spouse say. Use some of the similar words your spouse used when he or she was talking. This makes it clear that what you're about to comment on or disagree with is actually what your spouse said. This reduces miscommunication. If you repeat what you heard your spouse say and you didn't hear correctly, your spouse can clarify and the two of you can stay on topic. Now that brings me to staying on topic. You can't address 10 offenses in one conversation. So don't mention old offenses. Focus on the present issue. Then set a date and time to address other issues in a different conversation. Make sure to pick the right day and time to talk about your issues. Starting a conversation about a heavy topic while your spouse is trying to get ready for work is not a good time. Make plans to sit down and talk when it's conducive for both of you to productively interact with each other. That leads me to be clear. Be clear about what you can and cannot do. Keep your commitment. Don't say you're going to do something with no follow through. This is not a chance for you to avoid committing to anything either. As long as it's reasonable, even if it's a challenge for you to do it, committing to a request of your spouse helps the marriage grow. Do your part so the marriage isn't stagnated. Your spouse doesn't want to feel like they're alone in trying to make the relationship work. That brings me to put a timer on your conversations. Now, this is case by case. You and your spouse determine how long the conversation lasts. If it is a conversation that may have to be visited several times, I encourage you not to spend more than 20-30 minutes on that conversation so it doesn't cause burnout or looping, which means unproductive cycles of thought that keep conversations stuck and later creates avoidance. Avoidance creates distance. So don't be long-winded. Be aware of timing, be courteous, and make sure you're allowing your spouse the emotional and mental bandwidth to respond with care. If you talk too long, they may become disinterested or too mentally tired to show empathy or give constructive responses. So pre-plan when you're going to reconnect through connectedness. Sometimes conversations are difficult and you need space afterwards. Take your space. Allow your spouse to take his or her space. Before you take your space though, at the end of the conversation, pre-plan when the two of you are going to reconnect to restore that bond and show compassion and tenderness to each other. This can be as simple as connecting at dinner, playing a board game, watching a movie, taking a walk, or cuddling. Conflict should never be discussed at that time. Instead, your focus is on your spouse and being like-minded and in the same spirit. Focus on your shared interests and hobbies. A funny video on social media or the highlights of your day, or doing a Bible study together. There you have it. Now you're ready to practice the Heard My Spouse of the C.H.I for relationships. If you find this information helpful and want to learn about the rest of the C.H.I for relationships, that is connectedness and intimacy, get your copy of my book, Psalm Strategy Journal for Marriage. This interactive journaling experience helps you navigate through common topics pertaining to marriage. If you're ready to stop the arguments and move in alignment, if you're ready to invest in creating a mutually respectful and consistent relationship with your spouse for a healthy, more fulfilling future, Psalm Strategy Journal for Marriage is your journaling experience. It will help you foster an intentional and joyful union. It is conveniently available on Amazon. Prime members, your journal is available for you to receive within a few days. The link is in the description. Make sure to grab a copy for you and your spouse so both of you can simultaneously start journaling and building your marriage together. Blessings.